Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel here. This is Ryan Aranda, my best life Paraguay, and we're going to be discussing what I consider to be the top 12 reasons to move to Paraguay. Um, Other people may have different lists than myself, and just a real quick introduction because there are quite a few new subscribers to my channel. Um, and new to my channel, even every video I put out. So I'm Ryan Aranda. I moved here 4 months ago from the US. I was born here. I was adopted, grew up in the States, met my family here 12 years ago, and now I am living here. Okay. So very quick introduction, and I just want to get into this. So there's going to be ones I touch on less than others, but at least this is in my way of thinking, uh, the 12 important reasons, but we're going to start with number 12 and then work our way up to what I consider to be the top three, right? Okay, so in number 12, low cost of residency. Some of you guys might put this near the top for your reasons, but I think there are more important things. So yeah, low cost of residency. For my case, I have familial ties here, so I was able to do the process for I believe 1,300, 1,400, and go to permanent. I know that's not most of your cases. Most of your cases for getting temporary residency, try to pay around $2,000 to $3,000 tops. I know some people charge more than that, maybe four. Try not to go over anything over four though, you guys, for sure. So but just in comparison though, even to the Latin American countries like Mexico, they have income requirements that you're gonna have to prove, and that's to me that it's just kind of uncomfortable, right? To have to do something like that, and Paraguay is not one of those countries, so that's a very good thumbs up for Paraguay, right? Okay, and now um sorry you guys, just trying to get adjusted here. Yeah, so number okay, the last thing I will mention about that too is even Costa Rica. My man Simon was telling me it's like, I mean, you have to I pretty much prove you make six figures or something like that, or if not more. And so some countries that used to be easier, Panama is one of them too. It used to be easier back in the day. Now they have more requirements. So those used to be hot spots. And there are other ones too for sure. But for Latin America, Paraguay is very simple and it's relatively low cost, and it's a simple process as well. Temporary is 2 years, and that'll eventually turn into 10 years once you do permanent. Okay, I'm not going to cover that anymore. Next, very important as well, no foreign income tax. Okay, so if you're earning money outside of Paraguay, you do not have to report or pay taxes on that income, right? That's only if you're making money in Paraguay as either like a business owner, you're working, I don't know, maybe as a professor, translator, something like that in an official capacity. That's when you have to become a tax resident, I believe, and then pursue that in order to pay your 10% to the government, I believe, on a yearly basis. Okay, so yeah, I don't really need to cover that. This is probably going to be our quickest one, but it's important, because it's not just like an extra step that you have to do for most countries around the world. Just like prove your income, show your income. There are actually things here that you will need to do. Like if you're going to be renting here, you're gonna have to either number one, like I did, pay all in cash for like a year, or show that you have income, etc. So I will say that for those things, and like if you're looking for any kind of financing down here as a Paraguayan resident, those kind of things, yeah, you will have to show income. Like I said, even like paying rent or something like that. If you want a loan at a bank, like you're gonna have to like prove income to pay that off, etc. So those are the cases that you will, but just making income by itself, no, you don't have to. If you're making, and I know that's why arguably that would be at most digital nomads' top reasons, right? To live here, right? But even if you are a tax resident, like I said, it's no more than 10%. It's very reasonable. A lot of us in our Western countries pay much, much more than that in taxes, right? We're paying at least 30, maybe 40. Shoot, some of you guys maybe even 50%. I don't know. Does it go over that? I don't know, but you guys know what I mean. It's good. So you just have to deal with your home country, etc. Okay. Um, Now, okay, so that was 12 and 11. So number 10 is healthy geopolitics. Okay. So so this is gonna be a little bit longer because I want to clarify a few things down here. But number one, just off the bat, Paraguay gets along here, hold on, you guys. Sorry, real quick. Close this thing if I can. Okay, I don't know how. Okay, sorry, you guys. Okay, so Paraguay gets along with the world, gets along with our neighboring countries, and we have agreements in place. Uh, the Mercosur and the UNASUR are the two most important agreements for the Southern Cone countries and other countries as well in South America. So I actually want to go over um, what those agreements specifically are. Okay, because I think it's important for for residents to understand what these are. So going off of Oxford University's site, the Mercosur is an acronym for the Mercado Común del Sur, the Southern Common Market, which is established as a regional trade agreement in 1991 with four founding nation states: Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and Paraguay. There are five associate members of this judicial and economic bloc: Bolivia, Chile, Ecuador, and Peru. Um, Venezuela signed a membership agreement in 06, but as of summer of 2010, its status as a member has not yet been ratified by the Paraguayan parliament. I think that's still the truth. If anybody knows better, comment below. Um, yeah, and then Mexico may become part of the Mercosur going forward. But the most important part of the Mercosur, which I want you guys to understand, is from another site. But then this is what I tell you guys as well. Mercosur citizens, and if you're a Paraguay resident, you're essentially one of these. To have the right, like with your cedula, right? So Mercosur citizens have the right to free movement, residence, and employment throughout the bloc and then the five associated countries. Um, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna go over what the UNASUR is. And honestly, this is more of just like a macro thing. Like it doesn't. I don't know how much this will actually play into your guys' lives, but I still want to just go over it and get it just to understanding. So, the UNASUR, or the Union of South American Nations, was formed at the Third Southern American Summit on the 8th of December 2004 in Cusco and Ayacucho, Peru. So the Cusco Declaration was a statement of intent which integrated the two existing free trade blocs, Mercosur and CAN, which is the other northern countries, while allowing for their continued autonomy. The Constitutive Treaty of the Union of South American Nations was signed on May 23rd, 2008 during the third summit of heads of state and government held in Brasilia, Brazil. Okay. So, just a couple more things. With the express goal to minimize bureaucracy, UNASUR has not yet established its own institutional structure, instead incorporating existing structures of Mercosur and CAN. In the future, however, member states of UNASUR aim to follow the European Union by instituting a common currency and passport. I don't know how much I believe in that, you guys. The part about the common currency and passport. As of now, you can travel with your cedula. I don't know if they're truly going to make a new passport. I mean, what has this been in play in 2008? And if they still haven't done that, I don't see them doing that in the future. Now your license plate, if you get a car down here, that'll say Mercosur. But as far as like a passport, I just I don't know if it's truly like a European Union, right? Kind of deal. But anyways, and common currency, I doubt it. I doubt it. This is like, no, man. I don't see anything like BRICS or anything like that becoming a thing here personally. At least not in Paraguay. I don't think Paraguay is going to latch on that. Too close of ties to the U.S. kind of deal. Okay, I know this is getting kind of boring. I'm not going to read the rest of this. It's just more history, but you get the point. And so yeah, I just wanted to kind of mention that last part about the UNASUR, because I think that it's um, important. Okay. Actually, here, I do want to just comment. As of May 2009, UNASUR contained 12 nation states: Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and also members of CAN, Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Venezuela. Yeah, and I guess also Guyana, Suriname, and Chile. So it's pretty much almost all of Spanish speaking, damn near all of all of South America. Okay. Um, so and these political agreements are so weird, right? Because like Venezuela literally wants to like invade Guyana. So if anything, if this was a real true deterrent, if this was like NATO or something, like a more of a military thing, I think it would have more of an effect or something. But it's just kind of, I think it kind of exists just to kind of exist. Personally, that's just the way I feel about it. Okay, sorry guys, I know that bored the crap out of some of you, but overall, it's good to get along with your neighbors. It's good to not have a hot zone of war pop off. I mean, shit. Look at Asia, the Middle East, Eastern Europe. I mean, you know what I mean. So it's just and then the U.S. has a play in all these places too. So it's just like it's just it's a crap show around the world. So as a whole, I wanted to break that down about those two things, but also just in general, Paraguay gets along with these nations. We have these trade deals, free movement deals, and just healthy relations overall with our neighboring countries, um, even regardless of a horrific history, because we've been invaded by essentially all of our neighbors at one point. Okay. Now, so that's going into number 9 is healthy economy for foreigners, right? I do want to make that distinction. So what do I mean? So Paraguay is on the rise, you guys, overall. There's constant high rises being built, and these are residency or buildings for residents, right? For both for rent and for sale. There's two major bridges. The one that just went up is Héroes del Chaco. I believe that went up earlier this year in the American spring. So down here the fall. So I want to say like 4 or 5 months ago, the Héroes del Chaco bridge, which connects Paraguay from the northern part of the river to the southern part of the river, which is the main city of Asuncion, as part greater part of the Bioceanic corridor, which is the highway system going from Chile to Brazil. And it'll pass through Argentina and Paraguay. And Paraguay was a major player at making sure that this went through. And Paraguay will benefit incredibly much with import, export between the highway systems and the rivers, right? And again, and good, healthy relations with all the countries, right? Even all the way through Chile, which Paraguay doesn't even border, but it's all very important. Okay. Now, also, and these are macro things, but they'll all these things will benefit you. All these things will benefit trade, which will benefit the economy, which will benefit you, as an individual. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a healthy economy overall. I say for foreigners, but just overall, it's a healthy economy, right? And more national projects. Yeah, so the other bridge, the Itaipu Bridge, is being built right now, and that's more to the southeast part of the country, southeast part of the country, which is by the Itaipu Dam, which is going to connect Paraguay and Brazil, right? And there's already one or two bridges to Brazil, maybe just one. at least in the southern half of the country. But it's an important thing to build these bridges, right? And it'll only benefit the economy as a whole, or more free movement of goods, import exports of people, even just traveling. Uh, more bridges and roads are good, right? In these cases, not when you're super overdoing it, like the American highway system, right? But like, but just in general, right? Okay. And let's see. The port with Uruguay, right? That's going to be a major benefit when that's built up. I don't know exactly when the projection is. I know I did a video a while ago on it, but they still hadn't decided on the date. But there's the agreement between Paraguay and Uruguay to have a port there. That's pretty much just a trade agreement between those specific countries, right? Um, and that'll be beneficial to the economy as a whole. Okay, and then land is everywhere to purchase, inside the city and outside the city. I mean, you can find plots of land even just walking around my neighborhood that like they're owned by somebody, and I bet you it'll be sold by somebody. As long as you like find the right person, if they're the legitimate seller. I mean, you can buy anything, man. Like there's lots of places that even in the city that are not even purchased yet, or just like empty plots of land that you can convert to whatever, homes, businesses, whatever. Okay, and the strong USA dollar just passed 8,000 guaraníes. Um, so again, so for foreigners, that's a good thing, right? For Americans in particular, but and I'm not here to discuss like whether that's good or bad, but I'm just saying like for your pocket, that's a good thing that your dollar is strong here, and it's not just like some Venezuela or some Argentina where it could just like drop to pennies overnight, or Russia or something like that, like it's a stable economy, which is, oh, my next point is the most stable and reliable central bank in all of South America. And that surprises some people, like, really, Paraguay? And it's like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so if the government's stable, the central bank is stable, then that's good for a nation as a whole. Now again, the situation for your average Paraguayo is very different. Wages still need to be raised. They need to be making more, etc. But this is going over for a list of if you're coming here with your foreign currency, your foreign strong currency. Okay, that was number 9. So we're gonna move on to number 8: opportunities for foreigners. They're everywhere, you guys. I mean, I was just talking about the land, or places that already exist. Hell, the place next door is 8080K. You guys can buy that. Um, hit up your boy. If I remember, I'll put it up here for you guys. I think it's up here. But yeah, I'll I know that. Yeah, I do help sell a real estate, but uh, yeah, but it's just an example. You guys can turn these into Airbnbs, or for whatever you guys want to do, starting your local businesses. It's an easy process in general compared to the States, much less money. Bringing your skill set here, all of your skill sets are anything under the sun that you're doing back home is good for this economy here. Um, even blue collar work, etc. If you're to set up a business and get folks hired here to work under you, I mean, you could make a killing. You know, and yeah, even remote work. Just in general, I know that every remote job is to each person's skill set. But I mean, like, this is a calm and collected environment, with a balanced amount of life, a nightlife, and just like a healthier pace of society, rather than like working in like I don't know, a Pattaya in Thailand or something like that. Just like where it's just like nightlife is surrounded by you. There's so many opportunities to just like engage in hedonism and just like just waste your money. Like here, you can really separate yourself if you want to from the nightlife, from vices that might pull you in, right? From the distractions. This place is arguably one of the best countries and one of the best cities in the world to just stay on your game with your business, with your whatever online work, etc. Okay, so that was number 8, opportunities for foreigners. And again, a lot of that has to do with the power of your dollar. So a lot of these, yeah, they're overlapping themes and concepts, right? Okay. So that was number 8. Now we're going to number 7, geography and natural resources. Okay. So, um, number 1, geography, just I guess yeah, strategically, Asuncion is in the middle of the southern part of South America. So yeah, easy, cheap flights to anywhere you want to go. Buenos Aires, Santiago, Chile, Rio de Janeiro. You're talking $200 maybe. You're talking maybe even less. 2 hour, 3 hour at most. Plane rides. So if you are wanting to escape, it is relatively easy and relatively cheap to do so. Okay, so um, yeah, and okay, so yeah, that's just one part of it. And so other things about, I guess, geography, right? The river country, so which means river trade, healthy river trade, and highway trade as well. Especially when the bioceanic corridor highway system is going to be completed here, if it's not already. And the Itaipu Dam, right? That's on the river, the Paraná River, with shared with Brazil. Um, and so that dam, because there's a healthy flowing river, that dam produces the energy for the country and for Brazil, right? So the Guarani Aquifer, also very important, underground water reservoir, the biggest in the world. Which because of that, there's an abundance of fertile soil for farming, digging down your wells, uh, and a ton of productive land for living crops, yeah, and farming. And then because of that, there's a lot of natural resources as well that are exported, not just into South America, but all around the world. Believe it or not, United States of America even imports Paraguayan beef. Think about that. That's nuts to me. Okay, you guys. Yeah, let me just make sure we're recording well still. Okay, we're still recording, I believe. Okay. So, all right. This I'm sorry, guys. I'm losing myself here. Okay. Oh yeah. So natural resources for export. Just to name a few, electricity is number 1 because the Itaipu Dam. Paraguay is such a small country, so each Brazil and Paraguay each have a right to half of the electricity, right? Because it's in the middle of a river. So but Paraguay doesn't need all of its electricity, so it sells it back to Brazil, right? So it's a great revenue system for the country. Um, yeah, and sorry, you guys, so many notes. Okay, yeah, so very important, and beef exports, as I was just mentioning as well, huge. I believe Paraguay even exports more than Argentina still. Um, you know, and then in comparison, Paraguay has so much less land, so it shows you of our productivity as well with the land that we do have, right? Soybeans, right? And I'll just name the rest of these off quick. Maize, corn, cereals because of those first two. Oils, machinery, even aluminum, beverages, plastics, etc. Right? So there's a long list of exports Paraguay has. Um, okay, so I put this as number 6, you guys. Warm climate year round. Now, I know it gets very, very hot. I know that. But I'm just talking about, like, okay, so for agriculture, that's good, right? You can have things growing nearly year round. And then for your personal health and well-being overall. I'm talking more to folks who are coming from cold climates like I am, like the winter months can really take a toll on you. And I've heard this, it's not just me saying this, like, when I talk to other Canadians or New York or Illinois folks, yeah, even like the northern east, west coast too. But like those winter months can take a big toll on you. So it's, yeah, yeah, it gets hot here, but I'd rather go through a hot summer than a warm winter than a super cold, depressing, long winter. You know what I mean? And other folks know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you from Northern Europe, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Also, the lack of sunlight too, really gets to you. So you folks know what I mean. Um, so yeah, warm climate overall. I mean, and it's tropical country on top of that. So tropical fruits, vegetables, everything is great. Stuff falls off the trees. It's in abundance. So that's number 6. Now we are going to go to number 5 is safety. Okay. So I got some things to read off here. The U.S. Embassy says Paraguay is level 1 for precautionary stuff. Exercise normal precautions. Exercise normal precautions in Paraguay. Yeah. Some areas have increased crime risk. And they have the travel advisory if you want to read that. Exercise increased caution in Amambay, Alto Paraná, Canindeyu, and San Pedro and Concepcion departments, the equivalent to the U.S. states or Canadian provinces, or we have departments here in Paraguay, due to crime. Most of those that were just mentioned are in the north and the west, the part of the country, which I tell you guys to not go to anyways. Higher Brazilian and Paraguayan groups of narco activity, etc., across the border, right? So you really don't want to be living in those places, anyways. And just yeah, uh, just practice caution, right? Okay. And so, going over the homicide rate in comparison to the United States, Statistica, USA in 2022 was the last time that they had this statistic, but at least in 2022 in the USA, it was 6.3 homicides per 100,000 of the US population. Now, the last stat from Paraguay, from Statistica, in Paraguay in 2023 was that there's 6.2 homicides per 100,000 of the U.S. population, or the Paraguayan population. So that means, that it's just right on par with the U.S. Even a little bit lower, right? A lot of people think that all Latin American countries are extremely dangerous, right? 1 second, you guys. One moment. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, so now where are we? Okay, and then yeah, I pulled this actually from a blogger, because it's just it's one of the first things that popped up if you search out safety in Paraguay. Alex, a blogger from Adventure to Every Country, says or answers the question: is Paraguay safe for tourists to visit? And he says, yes, this is one of the safest countries in South America, and it has a lot less crime than the more dangerous countries of the continent, such as Brazil, Colombia, and Ecuador. Right, and I absolutely agree with that. But he says that does not mean Paraguay is without problems. There are dangerous parts of the country, such as Pedro Juan Caballero, what I always talk about, on the border with Brazil. And even within the capital, Asuncion, there are spots to avoid. Yep, he's right. Most notably, the Chacarita, a slum just a short walk from the president's workplace. Yes, he's right about that. I've talked about the tiny little slums that are on the river. There should be pretty much no reason why you guys need to be going in there. Okay. And if you're like a blogger like me, just be careful. And there's actually guided groups. Then I'll actually walk through the Chacarita. I'm on a guided tour myself and show you guys how to and where to be able to do that. But don't go in there alone. You know what I mean? Be smart. So, but overall, for other things, it's always put on a par with like this other safest Latin American countries. Uruguay even has a larger murder rate than Paraguay, believe it or not. And like even Costa Rica, but like for other things, they're on par with some of the most developed countries of Latin America, and on a par with the safest, right? So yeah, and yeah, Paraguay is one of the safest countries um, in uh, in South America for sure. Okay, now we are going to go to women, number four. Women, number four, Paraguayan women. Oh my gosh, our women are gorgeous, ladies and gentlemen, but gentlemen mostly, right? They are gorgeous, gorgeous, you guys. They are beautiful. They are feminine. And I just did a video on Paraguay and dating in Paraguay. So if I remember, I'll put that at the top here, you guys. Um, so yeah, I mean, you guys, I won't get into it, but yeah, it's you're gonna have more options. They're gonna be very beautiful, very feminine. They're going to give you a chance. You might be blown out of your mind. You may never have experienced what it's like dating here in Paraguay, Latin America. But you're going to be very pleasantly surprised, and you could even find your sweetheart and the love of your life. I swear to God, you could. Now it's going to take time. You're going to actually want to live here. It could take months, maybe even years to find the right one, right? I'm in the pursuit of that myself, right? But oh my God, it's so much different than the US, right? Like you have to be absolutely perfect in most Western countries these days. Here, it'll eventually kind of sort of get to that point where you just have to be top Chad, but even the non-top Chads, the normal guys will get a chance, right? Especially if you're obviously Western or foreigner coming from the country, and she's already gonna know off the bat that you're gonna be a decent provider, etc. The better man that you are as well, the more likely of a chance you're gonna do good. They take all that stuff into consideration down here. It's not just how hot you are, it's not just how much money you have, it's not just the projection of your life, etc. It's more than that, right? There's more context taken into consideration down here than your average Western country. Okay. And again, like I said, go check out my full video on dating. I'll put it at the end of this video as well. Because dating is important, man. Finding the love of your life, finding the partner of your life, man. That's like arguably one of the top decisions you're gonna have to make as a guy. Like who do you want to get down on one knee on and propose to? That's a serious, serious, serious commitment. If not, maybe the top commitment of your entire life. So, okay. Yes. So our beautiful women was number four. Now, number three. So these are the top three. These are the three most important, right? Low cost of living, ladies and gentlemen. Houses are a fifth of the price, fourth of the price than in America, right? Maybe even cheaper than that. I'm talking about modern ones too, built just a couple years ago or even till this year, right? From little townhomes to duplexes like I'm in, to high rises, to actual homes with pools. Like, it's you're gonna find something for an extremely reasonable price, coming with your currency. Renting. I rented this place. So like you guys may have seen with my renting video, $5,000 for the year. It averages out to be 376 a month. And that's with that 5,000 is with the deposit money, and that's with the commission that you give the Remax agent who helps you rent the place, right? So like that 5,000 is extremely reasonable. You know what? My 5,000 here for 1 year is the same as a lot of New Yorkers in New York's in Manhattan, right? A lot of them are paying around 5,000. So the way I look at life is like, wait. Would I rather have 1 month in New York or 365 days here in Paraguay? Okay, I can do without some stupid amenities that New York has. Are you kidding me? And plus, like everything else is cheaper. You guys know, you already know that. Okay, but I do want to really cover quick two other things in the low cost of living. Cheap little escapes to the town, the surrounding towns. Whether you're catching a bus or even Ubers, like all this stuff is incredibly cheap, you guys. A few bucks. I went all the way super far, and it was like $4 like each way. right? And it was just like that was like a 35-minute ride in a Uber, right? And I was just like blown out of my mind. And then everything in the town was cheap to do, eat, etc. Right? Areguá. That was the Areguá video. But there's other surrounding towns too you can go to for relatively cheap. Catching a bus somewhere, uh, whatever. You guys get it. There's another app with this Bolt down here. It's a cheap app as well to get around. It's the same as Uber essentially and Lyft essentially back in the States. Okay. Yeah, and besides that, I will say electricity, water, and trash for this place for a month. That was kind of a hot month in the spring here. I paid between all of those things, I want to say around 40 40 total. Uh, I want to say around 40 45 maybe. Yeah, total. Um, yeah, for my bills here. And then so I have also Tigo, which is a phone a Wi-Fi company down here. And between Wi-Fi, my phone service, and TV, which is like I think like $3 extra or something like that a month, just to be able to watch like the national games and stuff like that easily. I pay I want to say another 40 a month, right? For all three of those combined, right? That's like cable TV too. That's like nice. There's I don't know, hundreds of channels or something. That's good cable TV. That's 300 what is it? GB internet service. So really good internet service here. Also yeah, and my phone service I have if I was out all the time, all the time, like I could pay more. You pay by the gigabytes, right? Of um so I'm yeah, that's no more than $15 by itself right now. So so combine all of that. So combine electricity, water, trash pickup, um TV, internet, and phone service. All of that, all of those combined per month is under 100 a month here, right? All of it. You could even put it at like 80. And it might shoot up like 100, maybe max 110, 115. Oops. I think I muted myself. All of that combined is yeah, it's about less than $100. So I mean that blows your mind back in the States, right? Electricity alone would be $100, let alone all that other stuff combined I just said. Okay. So yeah, so that's cost of living. Also, food is it's about a third the price in the States. It used to be like a fourth or a fifth, but because inflation hit hard here, yeah, I would say food is about a third of the price, to be completely honest. But still, if you're taking like a fifth of the price for a house or renting, or even like a sixth or a seventh of the price you would pay in the States, and then like food is like a third, and then like all the rest of the stuff is relatively cheap as well. And if you guys start having cars and all this other stuff, okay, then you add that stuff to your budget too. But in general, very cheap country, very affordable country, right? For you Westerners. So that's why it is number three for me. Okay. I'm not gonna go any more on that. I'll do a whole video on that. You probably this upcoming month, because I have a few months to be able to reference back now. So I can give an even more accurate numbers for you guys. Now, number two is hospitality and being welcoming to foreigners, right? So like I've mentioned in many videos since even the first video, the United States and Paraguay have very good relations. And from the embassy, yeah, from the embassy's website itself, it says U.S. and Paraguay have maintained close diplomatic relations since they were established in 1861. And it's maintained that throughout the years. Okay, so yeah. Now, yeah, and then friendly, approachable people. they'll help you out, if they see that you're stuck or not understanding, or they'll try their best to understand you. So yeah, the hospitality, it's next level, even on a world stage, not just even a Latin American stage. But I've accounts of those who I've interviewed say like this is one of the most hospitable parts in the entire planet, not just Latin America, but the entire planet. That's so, for me being from here, that's so heartfelt to hear. And what reason would they have to lie to me if they had any other experience, and yeah, so like, and women are approachable. uh in the States they could be all like scared, or think you're this or that or whatever. But like, and well, people in general are just not talking to people in the States. Not even just a woman man thing, it's just like nobody talks to anybody. It's just a cold society in the States, like most places, right? um and yeah, and yeah, or foreigners, older, younger, men and women I've seen, they have a great experience here. If people are running for the hills, oh, believe me, they'd tell you. If they're like, oh my God, this was the worst decision I've ever made in my entire life, oh, they tell you. I wouldn't even need to be here, right? I wouldn't. And if I felt that way, like, oh my God, like this is like, oh my God, this is one of the meanest places I've ever been. Oh, believe me, I'd tell you. And then I wouldn't even tell you to come here, right? But no, that's not the case. We are one of the most welcoming places on planet Earth. Um, yeah. Okay. So we're coming to number one: culture and tranquility. Okay. I put this all under the same category. So we are unparalleled, right? When it comes to our tranquility, even throughout other Latin nations, we're even more slowed down. We're even more tranquilo. We're even more chill. Like, even, yeah, you'll hear that from Chileans. You'll hear that from Brazilians, Argentinians, Mexicans who come here. They all say this. Like, damn, man, it's like it's really just like really laid back. Like, dang, even compared to our countries, this is pretty laid back. You know. Yeah, and the Gallup poll has found Paraguay to be the happiest country in the world, 2015 and 2016. I know this whole discussion, and why is my number one? These are not things that you can tangibly measure, but they're trends, right? And then when you compare the rest of the world, these trends mean something, right? So, this is not like a thing like GDP where you can just easily measure, but it's an important thing, right? It's a calm, tranquil, nice, peaceful society, right? And because of that, is yeah, more collectivist society. It's not over individualistic, even though like younger generations are becoming a little bit more individualistic than the prior generations. A lot of that has to do with online presence, social media. You're not going to escape that hardly anywhere in the world, maybe besides like a North Korea or something. or like Russia, where they did whatever, you know what I mean? But like, you're pretty much not going to escape that anywhere in the world, but it's still a more traditional society, which is good, right? It's not just the full blown degeneracy you'll see in the States or Western Europe or Canada or wherever, right? Um, so even though, oh, and also on top of that, like neighbors helping neighbors, neighbors knowing neighbors, neighbors greeting neighbors. And yeah, so again, I'll touch on the slow pace aspect. It's not overly stressed environment. We're a bunch of tea drinkers, literally. um, but like, and also, like I've mentioned this several times, and I think it has more in play than most people want to admit. Um, which, well, more people should be saying this themselves, but it's the adaptability of your average Paraguayan, right, to an ever changing world society. See, in the U.S., I don't think we're not the best at adapting. You guys, some of us get really bogged down in our ideas, philosophies, our actions. A lot of times we think we're too good to be able to do something or this or that. or something. But your average Paraguayan dude, like, look, man, they could go through something really stressful, but like they're gonna figure out a different solution tomorrow, and it's really cool to see, just like their adaptability in life, the way that they can flow easier. They don't have these just like, whoa, just crazy moments. And believe me, there's still hard moments. Obviously, it's life, right? People pass. This may happen. That may happen. Sicknesses, etc. Poverty. I get it. But they're us Americans. We think we're either just winners or losers. There's nothing in between, right? There's no fluid flow to life. But down here is it's not just you're just not just a winner or a loser. There's more of a fluid flow, right? That's really hard for us Westerners to understand. And in fact, here, let me mention real quick. But I mentioned this on another video. But a young German kid, or not kid, but younger adult. I forgot how old he said he was, but he asked me. He was like, man, like, I'm trying to get there, but I don't know like how long I'll be able to stay, and like I don't have everything figured out quite yet. And like, man, I just don't like. I just want to like make sure that I'm not failing like when I get over there. And I actually had those same thoughts of like of being a failure, right? If I ever had to step back foot in like the U.S. or whatever. I don't think that way anymore. Like if I were to have to go back for a couple of months here and there, whatever, you know, um, but I thought the same way, not even that long ago. But then now that I've lived more time down here, 4 months, I'm coming up even in a couple of days here on the 4 month mark. I look at life differently, and I'm like, look, every month I'm here, I'm winning. I'm making invaluable connections. I'm building up this platform. I'm already working with folks for job opportunities, etc. Building my own thing, living my own life too. Like it's not just about work, but like I'm actually living my own life. Like I can do anything I want to tomorrow. I think I might just hop a bus to Cacupe on Friday here, just because I feel like it. Um, and like I can just do more stuff like random off just like because I know that like getting out to these places, when I make it out to these towns, like it's the cheapest experiences, like literally like economically cheap for me to travel around some of these places. Right now, if I get more farther out and I start needing car rides, or if I get like to a city where I can't just come back in one day, then I'll have to like pay like a whatever for like an Airbnb or something like that. But like, if you're just doing day trips and stuff around here, I mean, it's very doable. Um, and yeah. Okay, so I kind of went off on a tangent there. But and I also did like, friendly people, they'll go out of your way to help you if they see like, especially if they see like you're just dying under the sun, they'll like invite you to drink a tereré, right? You know, um, and so like, and I know like the Mormons have had those experiences when they're down there here, not just them, but other people have had experiences where like they can tell like you're a foreigner, you're dumb, and you don't have one of these on you, you don't have your ice water and your tea on you, because you underestimate our heat all the time, or you think you're just like John Rambo and can get through anything in life without like I don't know being hydrated or something like that, you know. Yeah, man, but like they'll make sure you're well if they see that you're not well, right? Um, yeah. Oh, and actually, I guess yeah, just a little side story too. I was at the mall the other day and I bought like these big things I had to carry. Whatever. I just use them for cleaning up here. But like I wanted to go to the food court, right? And then this guy saw me, and this is so American of me. I just like I had it like in my hand and then another bag in my hand. It was really awkward, and I was trying to get a tray for food and all that stuff. And then he's like he could tell I wasn't he could tell I was a foreigner, right? And he's like, look, man, just drop your stuff at this table right here and then come back and do this, right? And I was just like, the American in me is like, if I set this at this table 3 feet away from me, some freaking kid is just gonna come up and rob the shit out of it. See, that's what I'm saying, man. I was more worried about robberies back home in the States. Like, I'm not even, and that guy was, and I was like, you know what, dude? Yeah, let me just put my stuff down at this friggin' table that's like, what, not even 5 feet away from me. Yeah, I have to turn around and order real quick, but like, he was just like, bro, like, why are you stressing? you know? And like, I really like that he like called me out, like, for stressing, right? For like, and I was just like, yeah, dude, that was the logical thing to do, right? Just put myself down on the table. I'll be right there. Nobody's gonna steal it. In fact, there's like guards like crazy in by malls, like at every single entrance. There's a guard like with a big old gun. So like they take shoplifting a little more serious than the States. And yeah, like even like stealing from somebody else, like, and plus who's gonna steal some like crappy little like garden hole thing I got. Like that was just like awkward and stuff in my hand. Anyway, so it was really cool that he was just like, look, man, like be a little more like smooth with it. Like I'm all fumbling with stuff, and anyways, so I appreciated that of him. Uh, yeah, and we have a good mix of country and city life, right? And I've gone over this. We're kind of cowboys at heart. The girls that you date, they're always gonna want to eventually get out of the city and like go to like a waterfall or a river or an arroyo, a stream, and there might be like parks around these places and stuff. She's gonna want to get out of the city, etc., and experience a little bit of life, all that. Um, so yeah, and then we keep our traditions alive as well, which all goes part in the culture and kind of the maintaining the peace, right, through culture, through our dances, through our music, through La Galopa, celebrating national holidays and the parades that we have, that aren't like toxically nationalistic, but like a healthy nationalism here. And then our music is historically are like adapted from native African beats for our cumbia, European instruments, whatever. So like it's we continue this stuff, and because we continue this stuff, it creates an environment of more peace. You're gonna hear music everywhere in the streets, everywhere, businesses everywhere, right? It's not just like elevator music like you might hear at some mall. Like you might hear some like pretty thumping music like at some of our shoppings and stuff. Which is all just contributes to a positive, healthy environment. um and in the States, everybody's walking on eggshells, scared of each other, can't play the music too loud, can't do this, can't do that, this person's going to get offended, oh my god, what am I doing? I can't even be on this side of town, or they might not like me, or you know what I mean? And it's just like it's just so different here, right? Also, we have a great respect for our history veterans and our ancestors, right, who have fought in the wars to help keep us here and have fought to defend this country, right? And yeah, and then just very lastly, a respect for our native heritage as well, our language, traditions, customs, and that means that we're closer to our environment, the country, literally the land. We have more of an appreciation, just historically, for the land that we actually live on, to and the environment around us, right? And all of this contributes to culture, with all of it contributes to the tranquility, which all of it contributes to the amount of peace that you can find in a place, and just like just a healthier flow of life. Okay, and again, that's the non-tangible thing that I put as number one. But me personally, I think it's the most important. Yeah. So you guys, I did a lot of talking like I always do, but I actually had a list for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And yeah, I mean, you guys can see my thought process. You know what I mean? I know I do very long videos. This is probably gonna be like an hour long. I'm sorry. But like, I try to dive a little bit deeper into everything, even if it's just reading off these things in a list. Others might have different priorities. Me, myself, I am Paraguayo, so I embrace some of these things harder core than other folks would. I'm also very American. I mean, literally my style too. So it's like, I'm just a lot of things, man. And I look at the world in a certain way. Respect for my native and indigenous ancestry, respect for being Paraguayan as a whole, respect for being American as a whole. How can I blend all these things into making the sense of this effed up world we have to live in, this modern world that we have to live in, while maintaining traditions, while having a healthy projection of life, while remembering that there's an environment we need to take care of, while remembering that I have to see my family well, while, also wanting to be in a place where it's more likely of a chance where I can find the one, right? Then rather than trying to deal with a lot of degeneracy in the States, while all that, you know, and then your list might be different, and that's okay. I respect you guys. But thanks again for sticking there for a long video. If you guys made it to the end, yeah, keep liking, sharing, subscribing to my channel, you guys are the best. I'm gonna be, if I I'm gonna throw a monetization party either here, and I'm probably gonna go out and film all that stuff, once I hit 1,000 subscribers, right? So you guys want to get me to those that 1,000. You'll see a little bit more of the downtown, and then maybe nightclub situation and stuff like that. um yeah, so you guys, thanks again. Right on my best life Paraguay. Thanks for watching another video. See you guys later.